Salute to all the real ones out there. It's your boy Mike coming at you again with another video, alright? Y'all like the content that I've been dropping, the direction that my channel was headed in. I need you to like, comment, subscribe, and share those videos with other people you think may benefit from them, alright? Once again, I'm trying to build a community over here where steel sharpens steel. You know, we can all help each other to improve, grow, learn, and especially in this day and age where everything is kind of going just off the rails, man. Like, there's no type of values that people trying to implement. Everybody just caught up in superficiality and all of that. So on my channel, I want people who got some depth to them, who are looking for like mentorship, and overall just want to become the best versions of themselves that they possibly can be. Now, once again, you know, if you're a female and you're watching my channel, I mean, I appreciate the support. You know, like, comment, subscribe, do what you can to also support. But you just gotta know, at its core, this channel is all about like trying to improve young men, you know what I mean? Because there's too many just things against masculinity, and I'm doing my best to combat it by coming up with these topics and hitting y'all in the head with some truth, all right? So that's just a little disclaimer, all right? So today's topic is gonna be about deeply embedded urges, all right? So let's get started. One of the most deeply embedded urges that I have inside of me ever since I was a young kid, and I thank my mom for telling me that it's important to travel the world, is traveling. You know what I mean? Of course, just seeing the world, and I have the feeling that, I mean, it's already kind of been proven. I've been living in Germany with my wife ever since 2000. I left in December 2010 to go to Germany. And I basically just stayed. So, you know, minus the time that I went to the United States to go training, or the time that I'm right now in Kuwait working as a contractor, shit, that's easily like eight, 9 years that I just lived in Germany. You know, and I probably, when I'm done with this, will probably at least temporarily go back there. So I feel like I'm gonna settle on foreign soil and ultimately die in a foreign country, wherever I feel most comfortable. Like, Germany is definitely where I've lived the longest, but I don't think that that's gonna be my end all, my end game. You know, I see there's so many different beautiful lands that I have yet to even see with my own eyes, and wherever I have a good feeling and my intuition clicks and says, hey, you need to be here, that's probably where I'm gonna try to settle. So that's one of my urges, is traveling. The second one would be decoding the matrix, all right? So ever since I was a kid, I've told y'all in other videos, ever since I was a kid, I always felt like something was off. But once I saw the movie like The Matrix, and along with other books that I read up until I moved out and had my first place, I just felt like there's so much more to the world than what they're telling us. And it came out in so many different ways that I realized that that is an inherent truth, is that we live in a matrix. You know, just seeing that everything that society told me, just watching those illusions fall like dominoes, one after the other, it just let me know that it's a bit of a rabbit hole trying to, let's say, understand symbols, hidden hands of the government, the history of the occult, and secret societies. Like, even religion can go into that too, you know? Like I'll tell you about the first time I went to church. It wasn't the first time, but just one of the times I went to church. I might have been like 13. And I remember, like, I was with a part of my family that always went to church, you know, and if I think about like their economic situation at that time, it was like struggling. No one was really well off. Everyone was basically banded together, and it's like rent was a big deal each month. Getting the basic amenities that anybody who lives in middle class, like this part of my family was just struggling with attaining those things. Or, you it just seemed like a lifestyle where I was thinking to myself, damn, it's so unfortunate that, you know, some of my family has to live like this. Like, why can't they afford some of the things that maybe I think that they should be able to afford? And then I remember just being in church, and the one thing that really struck me was that it felt like it was a reality, not a reality show, but it felt like it was a game show, like entertainment is how I could best define it. I was under the impression that we were really going to be scouring through the Bible and making sense of all of these scriptures and having powerful conversations about how everyone can improve. And I thought that since it's a church and it's big and fancy and has all these nice trimmings, and the architecture is so beautiful, and you know, you have these pristine glass windows and all of that. I mean, it's really making for a nice ambiance when you go to church. And I thought that the luxury that I saw within this church could somehow get translated over to everyone who comes to this church benefiting from the beauty, you know? So just seeing that there was so much, I felt like emotional manipulation. Like, you know, they're playing all these songs and we're not really getting into the scripture. It's more, you know, theatrics with the pastor, and God said, y'all don't hear me, and then you got the organ playing, and then you got the band kind of emphasizing the preacher or the pastor's words. So it kind of gets your emotions all riled up, and everyone's clapping and standing up and doing this and singing songs. But I felt like the substance wasn't there. We're not really covering any ground as far as like this big thick ass Bible, first off. Second off, I'm noticing that like almost every single time that my emotions were high and there's songs playing and people are feeling all of these, I guess, spirits, that's when the collection plate was coming around. And I was seeing a lot of money going to this collection plate. And I thought it would just be one time, but it would be 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, almost at like any point where people felt like their guard was down, the plate came around again. So I felt like when I looked at the pastor, when he kept sending the plate around, it was like he was riling up everybody's emotions and then sending the plate around again. So I thought to myself, this is some bullshit right here, you know? And I'm not trying to offend anybody who's into religion. I'm just saying, like, that was one of the things that I just experienced where I realized that there's more to this. And then when I would start doing research, I would start figuring out, oh shoot, my intuition served me correct, because there is way more to it. And if you think about it, just let me caveat on this point real quick. If you look at the black communities, like go to, we'll just say Chicago, for example. Think about Chicago. They call it Chirac. So much gun violence, so many issues, you know, just permeating out of the black community. You know, economic problems, unemployment rate is skyrocketing. But then you have almost on every corner a black church. So already it's like, all right, so that's billions, trillions of dollars just getting funneled through there, and they don't pay tax. But how come the conditions still persist? How come there's no economic empowerment programs that come from the church? I mean, clearly the black people are giving all their money to the church. Why doesn't the pastor have any incentive? And that's why I know I'm on thin ice right here, you know, because I don't want nobody getting up in my conversation and trying to assassinate my character because I'm talking about the fucking black pastor. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, there is more to it. And that's just one of the things that I had as a deeply embedded urge, was to figure out and question everything around me that other people just took for gospel. Like, they just took it, yup, that's how it is. Don't ask any questions. You know, why is there a white Jesus on the wall? Oh, whoa. You're doing too much questioning right here. And then I do research as an adult, and I'm like, Council of Nicaea, okay, Michelangelo was chartered, was, you know, basically paid from the Pope to paint this guy as, oh, okay, I understand. Like, and all that stuff I thought when I was younger was true. So that was another deeply embedded urge that I had, was just to figure out the world around me and confirm that we do live in like a matrix. Third thing, which I'm still working on, but you best believe I'm on my fucking way, is financial freedom to do what I want and to only work out of my pure physical fitness and desire to basically not be bored. Yo, I'm well on my way. You know, that's the whole reason why I'm contracting. That's the way I always saw that as one of my plans, was to somehow, the military is a big step in that process. Was just me joining the military and getting myself set up in a way where I wanted to retire at the age of 41. And that doesn't mean I was never going to work again, but I wanted to be financially free by the age of 41. So now that I'm over here in Kuwait doing this contracting shit, you know, of course I'm away from my wife, I'm away from my family since years. But it's like a sacrifice that I'm trying to make because I really want to have money work for me. And that's the reason why I'm so big about trying to learn how to invest. And I'm going to make a video about financial literacy. Because it's really not so hard. Like, if you just think about it, it's just simple concepts that I learned from Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I'm just implementing them into my life. That's the beauty of what I said in that video about shrewd autopilot. Like, when I'm left to my own devices, I'm always listening to people who have money that have podcasts talking about what they did to get where they are, or you know, I'm listening to stuff from economists just talking about things that we can expect to come down the pipeline, different investment opportunities. Like, I'm always looking to ways where I can have financial freedom, you know, and that should be the end goal for anybody out there that's tired of just waking up and working a 9 to 5. Like, those days are over, man. Those days are over. It won't suffice. You won't be happy. You know, it'll be you and your wife. If you're in my situation, you're a man watching this channel. It'll be you and your wife both working, and then the state's gonna raise your child. They ain't gonna teach them shit about financial independence or about how the world works, or education is indoctrination. So the way I look at it is, if I have enough money to let my wife be at home, hey, my kid can get all the education and knowledge from her. We might even fuck around and homeschool our kids, or private school. But all of that costs money. So it's like, you gotta get yourself set up, and that's what I'm trying to do. Another thing that I have as a deeply embedded urge is to be recognized for a contribution. So basically, to break away from just being a cog in a machine. Like I mentioned, you know, just working for a company for 20 years and then getting a pension after that. Those days are long over, man. You got to think, robotics is coming. Technology is the wave of the future. It's already here. The NWO is already here. You know, companies have been outsourcing branches of their corporations, companies have been outsourcing branches of their operations to countries where labor is cheaper. So you got to understand, like, if you're like a blue collar worker these days, unless you have like a real trade or certification that can keep you afloat, or you can, you know, become freelancer or establish your own company, many of us are going to be replaced by machines. That's just facts, and AI. So I'm trying to do something where I can work for myself and like pass that down to my offspring, so that they don't have to start from scratch. You know, I was talking with one of my homeboys the other day, and it was like, man, both of us are thinking on the same level as far as getting set up financially. And we were talking about how it kind of sucks that every generation, as far as us, like, I'm talking about black people here, we always got to start from fucking scratch. It's like no parent is really thinking about having nothing set up for you. So when you turn 18, you're not getting anything. You know, when someone dies in the family, they don't leave anything except for maybe a headache and a motorcycle or some bullshit like that is just remaining, or a car that needs a tune-up or some shit. Like, but there's no business being left. There's no land being left. There's no trust fund being set up for you. There's no college fund. There's no business that you can now take the reins of control and now have an economic freedom or economic empowerment within your family. None of that is being left, you know? So I got to create a legacy that's worthy of being able to, like, withstand the test of time. So Iconic American Wear was one attempt at that. Now, of course, me growing older and realizing that the clothing industry is a very expensive and oversaturated industry, and especially right now with Corona happening, like I might have to. I'm not gonna say give up on that dream, but I might have to shift gears and change it up. But either way, I'm trying to create something that I can pass down to my kids. You know. Another deeply embedded urge was to understand human nature, so to gain knowledge and detach from the expectations of either sex. Like I know on my channel, I've talked often about female nature, you know, but male nature is some shit too, for real. You know, you got this competitiveness, you got this competitive nature between you and any other male you know, where they're secretly harboring resentment anytime that you show improvement or come to a level that they haven't reached yet. That's the same thing, you know what I mean? So just understanding human nature has been something that I felt like has empowered me. And another thing it's done is it goes back to that shrewd autopilot. It's made me feel very comfortable being on my own, and being on my own, you know, you born alone and you gonna die alone. So if you can't spend time alone, I feel like you clowning. You know what I'm saying? You need to get a relationship with yourself so that you can live your best life. So just understanding human nature, period, has helped me with being very comfortable alone. And last but not least, personal overhaul, right? And that has to do with basically improving what I can and accepting what I can't change. Fulfilling my purpose and self-actualizing. So those are all deeply embedded urges that I have, and that's also part of why I'm making this channel, is to help y'all people out there too. So that concludes my video. Like, comment, subscribe, and holla back.